Is that like having to play on the turf today because your normal pitch was frozen?
Yeah, I mean, adversity. It's been a long year, and we've had to deal with adversity, and it's not a big deal, to be honest. We play on turf anyway, so we just had a lot of fun, and the crowd was behind us. We had a lot of fans present, and we had a good practice, I thought.
Just speaking of those fans, what was it like to have so much support sending you guys off to Toronto?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it from day one this year. They stuck through us. They stuck through the whole season, through the lows and the ups. We can't thank them enough for all that they do for us. And today was just another example of why our fans, are the most incredible people in the MLS.
Help training in cold this week, given how the conditions are expected to be on Saturday?
Yeah, it helped for sure. I think a lot of us were wearing gloves and pants to training, so also getting here a little bit earlier than most East Coast trips helps. So we obviously want to prepare for the climate change, but at the end of the day, it's the same soccer game we've been playing.
Obviously, it's been a big week for you guys, and you're preparing for this week. Have there been any moments during this week that kind of stick out, maybe out about town, today at practice? Are there any moments that kind of made you realize just how big everything is?
Yeah, well, maybe getting here right now and seeing all the media members here. Obviously, they prepared us a little bit for how big of a game it actually is with all the media stuff going on. But and another example was all our fans at training today. It was incredible to see. From the first day, they went out, and I think almost 400, 500 people showed up. And for today, I think there were a little bit fewer, but it's pretty awesome to see, honestly.
Now, were there any messages they said to you? What was that whole discussion like with the fans on the way out?
Well, everybody sat through the cold, watched our whole training, and they all had smiles on their faces when we saw them, and they wished us luck. And they all said that. Well, most of them said we'll be there, and that's pretty incredible because it's such a long distance from home.
And obviously, needless to say, the battle in the midfield is going to be key, this weekend. What kind of challenge do you see Toronto present to you guys, and what guys can you do to kind of neutralize that and maybe gain the advantage?
Yeah, well, they have great players offensively. Giovinco, Altidore, a few of their players that do really well in the attacking third. And for us, myself and Ozzie, we have to be aware of those guys, always looking over our shoulders because if they receive the ball outside the box, they can really hurt us. So and for us, on the other hand, we have to take advantage of the little opportunities that we may get because at the end of the day, it is an away game, and away games seem to be harder for some reason.
Now, you're a guy whose role has changed a lot since you've gotten here, and you've been asked to do a lot of different things. Is there extra added motivation for you going against a guy like Michael Bradley, going against a guy of that caliber, given what your role is on this team?
Yeah, well, I just want to do the best for my team. I don't see this as a way to showcase my talents. Obviously, it may present itself, but for me, I want to win that MLS Cup. I want to win that game. To bring the trophy home for the fans. So it's not for me, more individually. It's more as a collective unit because we've been, at this for almost 12 months now, and to finally see it come to an end with one final game. I think a lot of us are gonna play our hearts out in the 90 minutes that we have.
Now, you have a guy like Ozzie next to you, a guy who's been through a lot of these wars with this team, been through a lot of wins, a lot of losses. What's that like, having a guy like him next to you, and what has he been like in the lead up to this week? Yeah,
well, he brings experience, first of all. He brings the heart of the team, honestly. He's a competitor at heart, and for us to have him on the team on that field for the MLS Cup final, which he truly deserves with his outstanding career. It's mind-blowing for me to be able to play alongside him, and we play these games for people like him, for athletes, for professional players who just have love for the game, and he's definitely one of those guys.
Are there any moments from your relationship with him that stick out? Are there any moments where maybe he taught you something, where he put you on? Is there anything like that really stands out to you?
Well, he just leads by example, to be honest. He doesn't talk very much. He doesn't like being in the public eye, to be honest. And he's a guy that will win 99% of the tackles, which for me is incredible. I remember my rookie year, I just kept watching him because they asked me to play a little bit more defensive towards the end of the year, and for me, I was just able to observe of the way he plays, and I think that definitely went a long way. Obviously, I watched film on him specifically, and I think that definitely helped.
Brad just talked about the leaders helping the younger guys out during some tough times this year. What did that mean for the younger guys to have some of these leaders step up and do that natural heel?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us young guys who were playing consistently and when we were losing, it was a bit frustrating. I think for Brad and those guys, they've dealt with situations like that, and for us, this is our second year. Most guys, haven't really dealt with that similar situation in Seattle specifically. So that helped a ton because I know that Kovar, myself, Joven, Jordan, were down at times because we were losing a big amount of games earlier in the year.
The low points seem to come after that Kansas City game. You guys lose, you don't get a shot till like the end of the game, and then Siggy gets fired a couple days later. How tough was it mentally in that moment right then when you guys got that loss to Siggy goes to keep the optimistic that you guys could turn it around and be where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough for the team, tough for me specifically because he brought me in, he gave me a chance. He made all of this happen, so I can't thank him enough for what he's done for me, first of all, and second of all, it's hard to see a coach go, and then Brian did well. He was given an opportunity, and he really took advantage of it, and that's hats off to him. I think when you start winning games, confidence comes with that, and I think we were crucial in the way we were playing towards the end of the year.
You remember the first time you trained with or against Ozzie, and did it leave, is that a lasting memory? Do you remember, when you get into you the first day? Or?
I remember one specific example where I thought I closed him down super well. I think this was my rookie year, maybe 3 weeks into preseason. I thought I was closing him down, and I didn't think he had space to turn, and he finds a way to turn, and I'm just there standing, and for me that was a little bit of a life lesson to not run that fast and try to defend him that hard. So he's a good player, and we're here because of what he does on the field.
He covers ground maybe better than anyone in the league. When you're out there playing kind of in that system with him, does it almost kind of surprise you sometimes seeing him cover so much ground? No,
not at all. For me, he cuts his angles off really well. Obviously, I stated earlier that he wins 99% of his battles. Obviously, that's an overstatement because it's really hard to do so. But he's a guy that he's just a winner, to be honest. He wins a lot of defensive battles, and it's tough to cover ground and still be mentally in the game, and he does that extremely well.
There's been a lot of key contributors for you guys during this whole run, but what does it mean for you guys to have Roman Torres back there, and a big center back who can help Chad and just win battles and maybe double up on strikers like Josie or whoever's in the 1-4 formation? Yeah,
well, people talk about Schmetzer coming in, Nico coming in, but I don't think Ramon gets enough credit. He has come in and been lights out for us. Like Ozzie, he's a winner. He doesn't like to lose. And for us to have him back alongside a guy like Chad Marshall, that partnership is just, very tough to break. Those guys are very strong and physical, and for me and Ozzie, it's very nice to know that we have two of those one of the best center back pairings in right behind us.
Last question.